Hello everyone, all the new audience of this channel. Welcome to the show. I'm Dao He, the founder of Yicheng Commonweal. If you haven't heard of Yicheng Commonweal, please allow me some time to introduce our organization. We are an NGO that aims to envision a better and a more civilized future blueprint for our civilization and present solutions to many of the problems we've seen in the world today. We do have an organization channel where me and Kisho, the other founder, would also post our videos. This personal channel is a new thing for me and I'm so excited. So thank you so much for making it here and welcome to the show. In this channel, I'm going to talk through some of the major notions and big plans of Yicheng Commonweal and how individuals who care about the planet can take part in it. We'll get started by talking about the word civilization and why it matters for every individual in our society. I think this is a very appropriate episode to start with, since we're going to talk about so many things in the framework of civilization in the future. And also, I think it's very necessary to reshape people's ideas about the word, because if you Google it, you see that the word has basically become a token of past history, like ancient Greece or ancient Egypt. You've seen a lot of pictures like that. The meaning of the word is really fuzzy, right? It's less relevant to our modern life. The thing is, if people think of civilization as something in the past, they tend to overlook that we as part of the humanity are also creating the content of our own civilization. And this can lead to an overfocus on personal life while neglecting the big picture. Imagine this, hundreds of years from now, people are also gonna have a name for our time too, like the Middle Ages or Renaissance. They will also judge us by the level of awareness we've achieved and how civilized our society is. I'm not saying that we should try to understand civilization just to impress the people in the future. Not at all. But I do think that looking at things through the lens of civilization do give us a broader view of how our lives connect to humanity as a whole. The way we live is deeply shaped by the level of civilization where we live in. If you're not from a rich family, a huge part of your personal development will greatly depend on the basic support you can get from the society, like housing, healthcare, education, welfare system. All these things will directly shape the quality of your life. So what exactly is civilization? To give it a definition, civilization is the sum of the physical and spiritual achievements human society has accumulated over a period of time. It includes the obvious stuff like the basic infrastructure, but also the invisible architecture like economy, political system, welfare system, education, and more importantly, the value. The shared values that kind of dictate how people interact with each other in a society. I know all of that together still sounds quite massive and abstract. So let's think of it in this way. Civilization is like the house we all live in, while things like culture, economy, political system, these are the functions and furnishings of the house. And the quality of the house, that's the key. This is where the whole conversation gets really personal for every one of us. It is this concept of effort differential. In a well-built house or a more civilized society, the house itself keeps you comfortable. The systems in the society are supporting you. So you need less individual effort to achieve success, happiness, and prosperity. While in a shabby house or a less civilized society, you actually need hundreds or even thousands of times of efforts just to achieve the same basic level of well-being, because you are not supported by the systems and you're likely being limited in many ways. In this case, you're not just facing life's ordinary challenges, you are fighting the house itself. This is why you see that so many people are moving across the world from their home country to other countries. They are driven by this universal need for well-being. They want to find a society where their efforts can actually translate into security, dignity, and a better future. They are seeking a lower efforts differential. This is also why the level of civilization cannot be measured by one single factor like political system, economy, or moral level. It can be reflected by the average level of happiness in a society, and the source of happiness is very comprehensive. According to the World Happiness Report, there are 6 factors that greatly influence people's evaluation in happiness. They are social support, freedom to make life choices, generosity, GDP per capita, healthy life expectancy at birth. Each of these factors is closely linked to different systems within a society. It is clear that the high-ranking countries tend to have strong economies, well-functioning welfare systems, less corruption, and high score in equality and freedom, while the countries suffering war or severe poverty generally score very low. And you see that some countries may have a good economy, but when people's freedom is limited, they still feel less happier. The relationship between the data really just proved my point. Understanding this can be life-changing. We've also seen many people who achieve greater success and live a much better life after moving to another country. They are also the living proofs of what we are discussing in this video. Many people lack a broader view of civilization and a deeper understanding of human history, and they often fall into 3 common mindsets. Of course, this is not their fault. This is like the flaw with our current education model. However, these mindsets can lead to very poor life decisions, both personally and socially. The first mindset, I call it the optimistic view. It is a kind of blind faith that, since science is moving forward, technology keeps rising, like AI is developing, everything will just be alright. All the problems will be magically solved. Progress is inevitable, like an escalator keeps going up, and all we have to do is just wait. This assumption is of course dangerous. We've seen the collapse of many great empires in the history, not because they didn't have a strong army, but because of corruption, because the systems in the societies became oppressing, values decayed, and people no longer knew what's worth defending for. And then we have the flip side, the overly negative view. It is a belief that human nature is innately bad and civilization is doomed to fall. So there is no use in making all these efforts. I've seen this in some very kind people who actually cares about others and the world. Like one of my very close friends, he's a history lover, and he told me that after seeing all these wars and corruptions in the history, he believes that human nature is just terrible, and so he decided to do nothing. He even asked me, why bother writing all these articles, making the website, and shooting all these videos? It's just meaningless. Why bother fixing the house if someone is gonna burn it down anyway? I call it the cynical mindset. And I totally understand why some people would think in this way. But from my point of view, this often leads to inaction. It becomes an excuse to do nothing. If you believe in this, you probably never find the force to change the status quo. And the third mindset, I call it the apathy view, probably the worst one, is believing that individual success is purely down to personal efforts and has nothing to do with the society. People believing in this tend to ignore the running background of civilization and would not care about the maintenance of the house. They can be the consumer or go-getter, but they would never become the investor, the creator, or the engineer of civilization. All these 3 mindsets miss one fundamental fact. That is, the progress of civilization is not automatic. Without all the work people have done to improve the systems, we might still be stuck in a barbaric world. Imagine this, a girl from 2000 years ago, if she could see all this, should think that our world is like a heaven. All these convenience of modern life and equal access to education and voting would sound like a dream from her perspective. Everything we now enjoy is the result of human efforts. How can we ignore that? When people tolerate injustice, when they allow corruption, they are also making active choices. That is not passive. That is apathy. But apathy is also a positive action. They allow bad things to happen, to grow in our systems. So every one of us should know that civilization died from suicide, not by murder. This is why we need to constantly maintain the house and improve the things inside in order for every one of us to get a better life in the society. And we know we can do it because we already renovated our house over and over again in the history. Human civilization has gone through slave societies where power was based on force and enslaving, feudal societies in which power is built on control of land, loyalty, religious authority, and hierarchy, then the capitalist societies, where the institutions get more democratic and people gain broader political rights. Currently, all the advanced societies on the planet are running on the capitalist systems. And the real issue we are facing today is that people mainly use their rights to protect their own interests, while neglecting the big picture. We all try to benefit from the system, but forget that the system itself is old and is no longer suitable for most of the people in the society. If we don't improve the system to make it benefit the vast majority of people, we are not going to get what we want. We see techs become amazing, AI is advancing fast, but they have little to do with the well-being of the average people. More likely, they become another tool of capitalist exploitation. I see many YouTubers saying that AI is gonna replace a lot of job positions and people are gonna get unemployed in the future. These are all true. But the way people say sounds like that's just how things are supposed to happen. People are seriously worried about getting replaced by AI and losing their income in the future. This is exactly what I was talking about. We are still living in a system where technological progress only serves the capital instead of humanity. A few people at the top get the benefits, and the rest of us get the bill. John Keynes famously predicted that by 2030, technological progress would make our productivity so high that people would only need to work for 15 hours a week. But the reality is the opposite. Technology is advancing, but we don't benefit from all of this. If the society is democratic enough, why are people still so unhappy with the government? Why are we still bombarded with all the tragic news every day and feel like we can do nothing with it? The truth is, we are living in a fake democratic system. Even though we have the legal rights as citizens, we can vote and protest. We are still letting a small group of people control things and mess our future against our wills. They control 90% of the resources and know how to take advantage of the system. They use the flaws of the system to strengthen their power, and the result is the possibility of a better future is deprived. You might ask, so what is the solution here? How should we update our system? Well, we all know that real change doesn't happen overnight. It starts with small steps that gradually become collective effort. And before we can even take a step, we need a direction. That is the premise of all actions. Yicheng Commonweal is the pioneer and protector of civilization. We tackle this by putting forward the idea of complete citizenship, which basically says that the citizenship we have for now is incomplete, and we need to update it. The citizen rights we have for now are just not enough for us to create a better world. This is why so many things are stuck, because we live in a system where people are often just informed, not included. When a decision is being made about the environment, about our community, about our planet, about another war against another country, are we in the room or are we just spectators hoping for the best? If we want something to happen, we have to petition or protest or vote, and then we have to wait. We have to count on a politician, a CEO, or a designated leader to get it done. We are living in a world of information where everyone can see the problems for themselves. Yet the system is preventing us from trying to solve the problems collectively and more effectively. Because we are not equipped with enough resources and we are often not included in the process of public decision making. We are like the passengers shouting advice to the driver. I don't need to give more examples. Clearly, this model is outdated. And Yicheng Commonwealth proposed to raise our system to a new level where every citizen has full rights and responsibilities across all the important public sectors and every essential area. The idea is that every person becomes a co-owner of resources and co-manager of the society. Citizens share real control over governance, resource allocation, and public affairs. Public power is no longer concentrated in the hands of a few people. It belongs to the community itself. A governance model based on complete citizenship aims to rebuild society around collective well-being and the sustainable growth of civilization. It moves beyond mere economic growth or authoritarian stability. It is also designed to prevent the big capital from manipulating the public affairs. In the current capitalist systems, people are more considered as workers and consumers, while in some authoritarian societies, people are not even citizens who have free choices. They are more like subjects to be managed. A complete citizen model sees you as a whole person who has endless potential. A child, a student, a parent, a creator, a member of the ecosystem, a stakeholder in the future of civilization. And this is the core of the idea. Complete citizenship is a fundamental shift in our identity. It is not about citizens getting more rights. It is about reclaiming our responsibility for the world we create together. We will no longer be the passengers shouting hard at the driver. The complete citizenship model is gonna help us update our vehicle. To achieve this, we also need to change the passenger's mind. And the vehicle is gonna take us to where we all agree to go. This is how we start making better long-term decisions for our economies, our political systems, and our communities. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please comment below if you have any ideas to share or any questions to ask. And make sure you subscribe.